Morning arrives slowly over the Aburrá Valley. The mountains surrounding Medellín hold the early light in muted colors. Mist rests on the slopes, drifting between neighborhoods built into the hillsides. The air is cool, still carrying the night's last traces of silence. Only the faint sound of distant traffic breaks through, soft and irregular. The valley stretches in long, quiet curves. Houses and high-rises stand close together, yet from above they appear still, almost suspended. Clouds hang low enough to brush the tops of buildings before lifting toward the sky. This city, shaped by layers of history and movement, feels calm in the early hours. No urgency, no noise that demands attention. Just the slow unfolding of another day in a place that has seen more stories than it can hold. It is here, within this landscape, that one man's life became entangled with the region's history. Not in a single moment, but over many years, through choices, circumstances, and connections that formed gradually. Pablo Escobar was born in 1949 in Rio Negro, a town near Medellín. He grew up in the nearby area of Envigado, surrounded by the landscapes of Antioquia, green hills, narrow roads, open fields, and the sound of wind through the trees. Little from his early childhood suggested the role he would later play. He moved through school like many others his age. He walked the same streets. He saw the same hills rising in the distance. Over time, he drifted toward small-scale activities that existed outside formal structures. These activities grew slowly, expanding into networks and operations that connected him to people with similar ambitions. Nothing happened suddenly. It was a series of incremental steps. By the late 1970s, Escobar had become involved in the trafficking of narcotics. This involvement expanded rapidly due to demand, geography, and alliances formed across borders. His influence grew, though not in a way defined by a single event. It expanded through repetition, shipments, exchanges, financial movements, each reinforcing the next. Yet even as his role developed, he remained tied to the landscape of Medellín. He often stayed close to home. The valley, with its quiet mornings and bustling afternoons, remained the backdrop of his life. By the early 1980s, Escobar was a central figure in what became known as the Medellín Cartel. This organization oversaw the production and transport of cocaine to various international markets, particularly the United States. These activities are well documented in historical and government records. Escobar also entered politics. In 1982, he briefly served as an alternate member of the Colombian Congress. His presence there created tension, drawing scrutiny toward his wealth and activities. As investigations intensified, Escobar's public life changed. He withdrew from politics. He focused on consolidating power within his organization. In 1984, Colombian Minister of Justice Rodrigo Lara Bonilla was assassinated by individuals connected to drug trafficking networks. This event marked a significant shift. The government increased enforcement efforts. Policies changed. Escobar's influence began to collide with intensified resistance from national and international authorities. Negotiations appeared intermittently throughout the late 1980s. Some discussions involved potential surrender agreements, immunity conditions, or prison arrangements. These negotiations produced La Catedral, a prison in Envigado where Escobar agreed to serve a reduced sentence under special conditions in 1991. La Catedral was not a conventional prison. It sat on a hillside overlooking Medellín, quiet and isolated. Escobar lived there for a year, maintaining a degree of control within its boundaries. In 1992, after concerns about activities he continued while incarcerated, Colombian authorities attempted to transfer him to a different facility. Escobar escaped during this attempt and remained a fugitive for more than a year. On December 2nd, 1993, He was located in a neighborhood called Los Olivos in Medellín. A confrontation followed, resulting in his death. Reports confirm that he was found on a rooftop after trying to flee across adjacent houses. These are the established, factual points of his timeline. They form the outer structure of a life that contained many layers beneath. Several moments stand out as shifts in Escobar's trajectory. One was his growing involvement in large-scale narcotics operations. The logistics, alliances, and financial networks created during this period increased his influence and visibility. Another was his brief entry into politics. The scrutiny he faced there revealed details that had previously remained obscured. This created friction between him and the government, pushing him toward a more adversarial status. The assassination of Rodrigo Lara Bonilla intensified governmental opposition. It led to extradition policies, increased enforcement, and international cooperation. La Catedral represented another turning point. The arrangement symbolized both the state's attempt to contain Escobar and his ability to negotiate under unusual conditions. His escape from La Catedral marked the beginning of his final period. During this time, his mobility decreased. He relied on small safe houses. His circle narrowed. The end came quietly, not through large events, but through a gradual erosion of options, movements, and allies. Photographs from the period show Escobar in various moments of his life, standing with family, posing near soccer fields, walking through Medellín, ordinary scenes that contrast with the larger narrative surrounding him. Financial records, seized documents, and communication logs form part of the official documentation. These items sit in archives, stored in folders and boxes, presenting the structure of operations without emotion. La Catedral still exists. Parts of it remain on the hillside. Cracked walls, empty rooms, quiet corridors shaped by time and weather. They stand as physical remnants, without offering explanation. Safe houses, once used for hiding, are scattered across Medellín. Most have been repurposed or demolished. Nothing visible suggests their previous use. These objects and places exist like shadows of a larger story, quiet, static, and unable to speak. Because Escobar's life intersected with politics, crime, and international policy, many theories have emerged. Some believe he sought political legitimacy as a long-term goal. Others suggest it was an attempt to shield his activities from scrutiny. Neither interpretation is definitively proven. There are discussions about his motivations, whether he aimed for power, security, or influence. Some argue he acted out of ambition. Others think he reacted to circumstances created by demand, economic opportunity, and existing criminal structures. The events surrounding his final months contain uncertainties. Some believe he was attempting to negotiate again. Others suggest he was simply trying to survive in shrinking territory. The manner of his death has prompted speculation, though official reports maintain a consistent account. Escobar was located through a combination of intelligence and tracking methods, attempted to flee, and died during the ensuing encounter. These theories remain suspended between evidence and interpretation. They offer possibilities, not conclusions. Medellín today is a different city. The skyline rises higher. Cable cars connect hillside neighborhoods. Public parks and plazas fill with people each day. The hillsides remain, though, green, steep, and often touched by low clouds. The same landscape that shaped Escobar's early life continues to overlook the valley. La Catedral stands quietly, visited by few. Its open rooms gather sunlight during the day and cool air at night. Grass grows where walls have crumbled. Time has softened its edges. Los Olivos, where Escobar died, is an ordinary neighborhood now. Children play in the streets. Vendors sell food. Most residents go about their days without connection to the event that once occurred there. The city breathes at its own pace. It does not erase history, but it does not pause for it either. More than 3 decades have passed since Pablo Escobar's death. The stories surrounding him remain, but they have settled into distance. Layers of interpretation, memory, and myth have accumulated, but the core facts remain unchanged. Time has carried the city forward. New generations move through its neighborhoods, climbing the same hills, looking out at the same valley. Escobar's life, though widely discussed, exists now more as a historical outline than a lived presence, a sequence of events, shifting alliances, and choices that shaped a period but do not define the landscape today. There is no final conclusion to offer, only the recognition that some stories remain partly understood, held in place by both memory and silence. The mountains continue to rise around Medellín. Clouds drift across their peaks. The valley fills with the quiet sound of daily life. And in this ongoing rhythm, Escobar's story becomes one among many, suspended between what is known, what is uncertain, and what time allows us to remember.